Thank you for joining us. My name is Felicity Ezewuike. We begin the news in West Africa, where Nigeria's Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo, has suspended Dana Air operations due to concerns surrounding the safety and financial viability of the operations. The minister also ordered a comprehensive audit of the airline, which will encompass all aspects of safety protocols, maintenance procedures, and financial health to ensure full compliance with the aviation sector's regulations. In a letter to the NCAA Director General titled Immediate Suspension of Dana Air Pending Safety and Financial Health Audit, the minister said the move is necessary to ensure safety and regulatory compliance. Keyamo explained that the recent incident underscored the urgency of the matter and the need for swift and decisive action to be taken to safeguard the interests of all stakeholders involved. To discuss this, I am being joined by an aviation analyst, Godi Ike, and aviation editor, Wole Shadare. Thank you very much for joining us, gentlemen. I will start with you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'll start with you, Godi. Nigeria's aviation sector has been considered one of the safest in the world in recent years. Some stakeholders feel the suspension of Dana Air was rather too harsh, as the plane skidded off the runway and did not crash, as some media outlets had rumored. What is your take? Godi, the question is for you, sir. Okay, I guess I'll go to you, Wole. Did you get my question?
Yes,
right.
Very well. I got your question. The aviation industry in Nigeria has been safe. In fact, the sector is one of the safest in the world in the past 20, 15 years. So what happened to Dana yesterday shouldn't have warranted, using of a sledgehammer to kill an ant. What I mean in the sense is that we do have incidents like this that happen all over the world, even to bigger airlines. Yes, I agree that when incidents like this happen, they need to be investigated. We really need to know what happened. And it's within the purview of the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, NSIB. But what I noticed, or what a lot of people noticed yesterday, was that when this incident happened, we started seeing a lot of press releases from NCA, from NSIB, and there were so many inconsistencies that, made us to wonder what the agencies were up to. I don't believe that we should have reacted the way we are reacting over incidents. If you go on the internet, you will see this type of incident that happen all the time. It wasn't a crash land, it wasn't a serious incident, but I agree that it needs to be investigated to know what has happened. But I also understand that the minister may have taken this action because of incident that has involved Dana Airline in the past 2-3 years. But at the same time, even the minister didn't cover himself in glory enough by writing a letter and ordering the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, which is the regulatory body, to suspend a Dana Airline. That was a joke carried too far because, one, this has a lot of implication on the safety rating of Nigeria. It has a lot of implication on how the entire world is going to view us. The minister does not, and I repeat, does not have the power to order or to write to the NCAA. It can only advise. But when you tell the regulatory body to suspend, writing a letter, that shows political interference in the affairs of the regulatory body. The aviation ministry or the minister, their role is policy formulation and to supervise, not to begin to act as the regulatory body. What it shows and what the minister's letter has shown, is shown that we have a lame duck NCA that doesn't know what it's supposed to do until the minister or the ministry beckons on it to take an action. That shouldn't be accepted in civil aviation matters. The entire world is looking at us because if care is not taken, I pray our aviation rating is not going to be downgraded by action such as this, because Nigeria is a Category 1 a Category 1 aviation country. What it means is that we've gotten all the safety requirements. We can rub shoulders with any country, top country in the world. Even Ghana does not have Category 1. And I remember when, may God bless his soul, former president, the late Musa Yar'Adua, wrote a letter to the president of the United States then, assuring them that Nigeria will never, or the government or the presidency will never interfere in the activity of the regulatory body. But all
right, well, let me engage. Let me also engage Godi. Two questions for you, Godi. The first is, I don't know if you heard part of Wale's submission about the NCAA being a slam dunk for not taking up its responsibility and practically waiting for the minister to direct them. And then the other part of the question I want to ask you is that the airline, Dana Airline, issued an official statement detailing the incident, but was kind of coy on the possible cause of the accident. However, unofficial sources suggest it may be a result of heavy rainfall. Is there any information that you might have as to what might have caused the plane to veer off the runway pending further investigations?
All right, thank you very much. Yes, I heard Wale. The observation, starting with the observation he made concerning the minister writing NCAA and asking NCAA to suspend Dana Air. I agree with him that that was not right. NCAA is an independent regulator that should be allowed to do its job. They are experts, and at every point in time, they know what to do and should be allowed to do their job. Yes, Dana Air is the story of Dana Air is not to be forgotten very easily in this nation, and that's why everyone is jittery, and that explains why the honorable minister, hastened to take this action that he shouldn't have taken. He should have allowed NCAA to move in, take a look at what happened. I mean, a plane that had arrived, safely, to his destination airport, touched down safely and along the line for some technical reasons, or perhaps weather reasons, veered off the runway. It shouldn't, call for immediate suspension until we know exactly why it happened. Now, coming to your second question, what might have been the cause of the incident?
Okay, I think the internet has interrupted his submission. Let me go back to you, Wale. Of some of your submission, I want to ask about the impact this suspension, once it comes into effect, will have on Dana Air. It's already a very tough business environment. Is that the right move at this moment? God doesn't seem to think that is. There should be investigation before suspension.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is why I totally agree with what Godi said, because the NSIB has not investigated or are in the process of investigating this incident. And the next thing, we're getting suspension. it doesn't add up in the sense that what could you possibly adduce for what has happened? There are so many factors. We are not the investigators. Even the minister is not an investigator, or the ministry is not an investigative body. So they should have also allowed the NSIB, the body saddled with investigation of aircraft incident or accident, to do its job before you can come up with suspension. And suspension shouldn't have been, because what happened to Dana has happened to so many airlines. But I guess because of what has happened in the past that, made the minister to beam his searchlight, and depending on the advice he's getting from whoever is giving him that advice, but it was wrong. I believe he should have talked to people who understand better. And what you have done what we have done by suspending Dana is that we are making the airline business to be more difficult, because this is not an accident, it's an incident that can happen to any airline. Big airline in the world have also gone through this.
All right, Wale. I'm sorry to interject, but we're pressed for time. So I will just go back to Godi and just let him land with his thoughts as we wrap up, please. God, if you can hear me, just go ahead and conclude your thoughts earlier. You were interrupted by the network. Okay, I'm told the network has, his internet is frozen again, so.
Yeah, go ahead now.
Godi, can you speak?
Hello, I'm not here. Hello.
Godi, can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm not hearing you.
Okay, so the bulletin doesn't look tidy. I'll just go back to you, Wale. Quickly, in 30 seconds, just conclude. Sorry for the interjection, but we had to give Godi some time.
Yes, I think the NCA should. It's not even in the for NCA to investigate, because we have a body that should investigate. But what the NCA is going to do is to audit the financial health of the airline. But I believe they shouldn't wait for an accident or incident to happen before they begin to audit airline to know whether they are financially stable. This is also an indictment on the regulatory body. We should, as a matter of fact, audit these airlines periodically, not until when there's an incident. That an airline has incident doesn't make you begin to call for emergency audit of the airline. It should be part of the regulatory body's duty to do this periodically.
All right, Wale, thank you very much for speaking with us. We appreciate your time and your patience. And of course, Godi, we hope we can get you on subsequently with a better connection, of course. Moving on now, the Nigerian Army, in its renewed efforts to educate civilians on the need for security consciousness, has organized a one-day program for social media users in Abia State. The seminar in Aba aims to educate social media users on the importance of responsible posting, particularly regarding information that could impact national security. News Center's Chinwe Ugele has details.
It is the 33rd edition of the Army seminar targeted at the ever-growing population of social media users. Basically, the security of the nation is of great concern to every citizen, but is an assignment that the Army must accomplish. The Nigerian Army is championing positive use of social media through such engagements other than the use of force.
It is pertinent to state that social media platforms have become an important tool in shaping the security environment of any society. Therefore, the misuse of any of the social media platforms for the dissemination of injurious and divisive content can lead to devastating impact on our society.
The Nigerian Army Social Media Seminar is a key part of our outreach and engagement strategy to inform and educate the public about the Nigerian Army's effort to maintain peace and security in our nation.
The training, which has the theme Enhancing National Security Through Responsible Use of Social Media, also had lectures on curtailing negative content on social media and fake news on social media and its effect on national security.
Everybody wants that go big. Now, everything they want the internet to shake. They say want the internet to scatter. That is part of why we have a lot of negative news online. Now, there are people who are interested in scandal.
Participants are exposed to the possible danger in posting and sharing information capable of creating distrust in the minds of the citizens and destabilizing sections of the country.
You should be able to create awareness with informative content. So especially those who came here, I think they're going to come up with something better in their content creation.
I have every necessary tool that I needed to shape the country, the security of Nigeria, on the positive side, that whatever content I put should not be harmful. It should be something that should be balanced, fair to all concerned.
All about, national security, so that some of the things we say and some of the things we do would not actually be a threat to national security. So for me, I'll take the positive.
The only way to know that the aim of the seminar is achieved
is for the participants to activate all the lessons learned in all their posts going forward. In Aba, News Central, Chinwe Ugele.
Many thanks, Chinwe. The National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies has called on internal security operatives within the nation's federal and states parliament, also known as Sergeant-at-Arms, to put more measures in place to prevent threats of violence within the parliament. Director General of the Institute made this known during a training workshop for Sergeant-at-Arms, chamber assistants, paramilitary personnel and legislative aides from the national and states houses of assembly. He says Sergeant-at-Arms lack adequate training and called for the strengthening of the legal framework bordering on their operations.
Ordinarily, a police officer doesn't have any role to play within the chamber. If we're able to upscale the skill of the various sergeant-at-arms in the various assembly. As I said, the legal framework for the sergeant-at-arms, therefore, also needs to be strengthened. It's not just about, taking us to the field, availing us. Even the legal framework that guides our operation, we need to really strengthen in a way to enhance the preventive and responsive stance of the various sergeant-at-arms to any form of crisis within the legislature and for legislature.
It's time for a short break. The news continues right after. Do stay with us. The Ondo State People's Democratic Party, PDP governorship primary election scheduled for the 25th of April 2024 will be conducted by a 7-man primary election committee headed by Bayelsa State Deputy Governor Lawrence Erujakpo. 7 aspirants have been cleared by the Senator Sam Egu screening committee to participate in the primary election. A total of 627 delegates from the 18 local government areas of the state are expected to elect the standard bearer of the party for the November 16, 2024 governorship election. Now, hours after the resignation of Rivers State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Zacchaeus Adango, another commissioner in the oil-rich South State, Isaac Kamalu, has exited the cabinet of Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Like Adango, Kamalu, in a letter to the Secretary to the Rivers State government on Wednesday, rejected his redeployment from the Finance Ministry to the Ministry of Employment Generation and Economic Empowerment. Kamalu cited absence of peace in Rivers State despite the peace pact by President Bola Tinubu last December. He said it was impossible for him to give his best in an atmosphere of rancor. Earlier, former special advisor to former Rivers State Governor Yahaya Bello was on the news and shared his thoughts on this.
Well, I strongly doubt, because the Attorney General Commissioner of Justice is found wanting, not because he's not a professional, not because he's not sound, but because of his political inclination.
Okay.
So he's found wanting. So he's not ready to do anything that's going to advance the government of the day. And you cannot keep somebody like that in government. And for anybody who has a modicum of dignity, even when you are asked to go back and serve, having resigned voluntarily, you are not compelled to do so. Having resigned, if you have a modicum of decency, you will reject it. Look at what happened to El Rufai. He said no, rather he was even going to nominate somebody. And that is what we call dignity. Well, what do I go back? You have been Attorney General for almost 6 years, almost the longest serving Attorney General in the state. And what are you going back to do as Attorney General of the state? Well, even if your principal asked you, your former principal, about your political godfather, will ask you to go back. You tell him, no, let us rather nominate somebody. But
Okay.
they just wanted to prove a point.
Okay, so
that they have the control of the state.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has withdrawn its appeal at the Court of Appeal, Abuja, seeking to set aside the interim injunction barring it from arresting the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, for trial. The anti-graft agency, in its notice of discontinuance dated April 22, said its decision to terminate further proceedings on the appeal was based on the fact that the initial order a Kogi State High Court made in favor of the former governor has been overtaken by events. The commission also admitted that the appeal it filed challenging the said interim order was filed outside the time allowed by law. Staying with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, it has taken a strong stance against fraud by warning the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, to submit himself to the anti-graft agency, saying that there is no hiding place for him. Similarly, the agency also arrested former Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, over an ongoing 8.6 billion naira money laundering probe. This has thrown light on how focused and determined the drive from the EFCC has been in combating corruption. A coalition of civil society groups in Lagos, after a rally, has demanded that the rule of law be obeyed. The group was referring to the ongoing case of the former Kogi State Governor, Yahaya Bello. The former governor is wanted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for cases concerning fraud and money laundering. The groups say while they are not in support of fraud, nor are they against the anti-graft agency, all they ask for is that the rule of law be followed.
The China decrees, oppressive decrees at that. And we, as Nigerian people, rejected military decrees, especially Decree 2 and Decree 4. Decree 2 was preventive detention decree that empowered the Chief of General Staff to detain people without trial, without charges, for as long as he wanted. For a minimum period, initial period of 6 months, and can renew it at any time. Under that decree, several of our leaders take you in and you may not come back alive. We fought it. We won the battle. Babangida took his colleagues in phantom coup and slaughter.
As a way of supporting its vulnerable residents, especially because of the current economic challenges, the Lagos State government has flagged off its Eco Cares program. The initiative is an umbrella body of programs which seeks to provide aid ranging from subsidized food to discounted transportation and free medical care, among others, to vulnerable locations. Our correspondent Bernadette Kede witnessed the flag off and now reports.
Bags of rice, beans, gari and semovita, as well as cartons of noodles and other food items, all heaped up, waiting to be distributed. Earlier in the year, the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, had promised to support vulnerable families make it through these challenging economic times, and according to his Commissioner for Information, it was time to fulfill that promise.
By this administration, we break all barriers to make life easy and livable for every Lagosian until the global economic decline gradually goes away. Thank you, Mr. Governor, for making this to happen. Thank you for the discounts given to the transportation and agricultural sectors to make life bearable for Lagosians in the face of this economic hardship.
While speaking to officials of Lagos State government and other stakeholders, the governor himself took out time to explain what the idea behind the project was. Governor Sanwo-Olu urged those expected to distribute the items to do the needful while assuring the people of the state that this was just the tip of the iceberg. After
the Onje-Eko model of feeding and supporting our citizens, which has been a model that we have tested time and time again. And what have we done? We created 59 markets out of our 57 local government and LCDs, turned them into a Sunday market. And we did promise you from that chart that we'll be selling food at the minimum of 25% discount.
After the address and presentation, the governor, accompanied by his deputy and others, proceeded to inspect the items to be distributed. When asked what mechanism was put in place to ensure those who need the food items actually get them, the Commissioner for Information had this to say.
The ceremony that we have just ended, you could see that there are community development committee people there. These are the people who are going to be driving the process. The community development committee leaders, they know the people who are in their communities. They know the people who cannot feed themselves. The people at the lowest rung of the ladder for whom these materials are meant for.
The ripple effect from the removal of petrol subsidy has been hitting hard on Nigerians, and the governor hopes that these temporary measures will help cushion the economic hardship till things change for the better. In Lagos for News Central, I'm Bernard Akede.
Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has tasked stakeholders in the justice sector to restore the trust and confidence of citizens back to the judiciary. This was during the National Summit on Justice 2024, which held in Abuja, organized by the Ministry of Justice in collaboration with the Nigeria Bar Association. Our correspondent Marvelous Obomanu files in this report.
The judiciary is one of the arms of the government fundamental to the growth and sustainability of democracy in the country. While the judiciary must periodically self-examine and scrutinize its performance, the 2024 National Summit on Justice provides an opportunity for this. President Bola Tinubu, who was represented at the summit by the Vice President, called for far-reaching reforms that will reposition the judiciary.
Identify and seek solutions to gaps in the regulatory, operational, and institutional challenges that have long inhibited justice sector institutions from delivering on their mandates. I demand informed and coordinated responses to the identified challenges flagging the effectiveness and efficiency of the sector. I demand performance so that Nigerians can feel and acknowledge the impact of your reform efforts.
Other speakers here agree that the nation's justice system needs far-reaching reforms to help it meet its obligations to citizens.
Access to justice remains a distant reality for far too many Nigerians, with barriers ranging from procedural complexities to socioeconomic disparities. The quest for justice should not be a privilege reserved for the few, but a right accessible to all.
The policy also seeks to improve mechanisms for fair and speedy dispensation of justice, detention and correctional services, restorative justice, alternative dispute resolution, ADR, developing Nigeria into an arbitration hub on the continent.
And working in concert with the committees on constitutional amendment, judiciary and legal matters, both in the House of Representatives and also in the Senate, and also the committee on the amendment of the Electoral Act, our commitment to ensuring that the thoughtful and transformative justice reforms propagated here today are seamlessly integrated into the ongoing amendments that we are doing.
The summit was attended by the Vice President, the leadership of the nation's parliament, anti-graft agencies, cabinet ministers, amongst others. In Abuja for News Central, Marvelous Obomanu.
And one of our top stories tonight, roads turned into gushing rivers and homes swamped by waist-high muddy waters. Storms and flash floods wreaked devastation across the Kenyan capital, Nairobi, on Wednesday, claiming at least 4 lives. The East African region has been lashed by relentless downpours in recent weeks as the El Nino weather pattern exacerbates the seasonal rainfall. Across Nairobi, image posted by Kenyan media shows trucks, cars and motorbikes stuck in the deluge and people wading through flood waters in slum areas of the city to try to reach safety. An estimated 60,000 people, mostly women and children, have been severely affected by the flood waters, the flash floods. That is according to the Nairobi County Governor's Office. Up next is business news.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Welcome to Business News. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has refuted claims of issuing a new directive to deposit money banks, non-bank financial institutions, and other financial institutions in the country regarding action against accounts and customers involved in cryptocurrency transactions. A statement circulating since April 23, 2024, alleged that the CBN's Banking Supervision Department warned banks to cease engaging in cryptocurrency dealings and facilitating cryptocurrency payments. The statement further stated that such actions were prohibited and instructed banks to identify and place accounts related to crypto trading on post-no debit (PND) status for 6 months. However, the CBN released a brief statement on Wednesday denying the issuance of any such directive. The Apex Bank labeled the circulated statement as fake, cautioning the public to disregard it and directing them to visit the official CBN website for verified information. President Akufo-Addo has accepted KPMG's recommendation to terminate the upstream petroleum and minerals audit services provided by Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited, SML, to the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA. The transaction audit and external price verification services may also be terminated as GRA obtained only partial value from them. The President highlighted the introduction of external price verification tools by GRA, rendering reliance on SML redundant. However, downstream petroleum audit services provided by SML are deemed necessary due to their positive impact. The President directed a review of the contract, including the fee structure, intellectual property rights, termination clauses, and service delivery expectations. The Ministry of Finance and the GRA were instructed to implement the President's directives. And finally, the City of Cape Town and Western Cape Provincial Government have been advocating for increased private sector involvement to improve the performance of the Cape Town port. In response, the Transnet National Ports Authority, TNPA, has issued a request for proposal, RFP, inviting interested parties to submit proposals for appointing a terminal operator at the Port of Cape Town. The bid submission deadline is July 15, 2024. The successful bidder will acquire, operate, maintain, refurbish, or construct a liquid bulk terminal for a 25-year concession period. TNPA aims to collaborate with the private sector to diversify port revenue, create jobs, and develop infrastructure for economic growth. Interested parties must attend a compulsory briefing session on April 30, 2024, and RFP documents are available on the Transnet e-tender portal. These are the stories we're tracking on Business at this hour. Thank you for watching. I am Perpetual Fasome Peter. The news continues shortly. Bye for now.
We now head to the sports desk for today's sporting stories.
And in sports, the Athletics School Games is a brand new athletics event in Lagos State set to redefine the sports landscape. Now, this unique competition is designed to bring together athletes from various private schools to showcase their talents while nurturing a sense of sportsmanship, healthy competition, and of course, community spirit. The competition will feature a variety of track and field events, including sprints, middle distance races, hurdles, shot put, long jump, and shuttle throw. Now, this diverse range of activities ensures that athletes can showcase their skills across multiple disciplines, contributing to the overall success of their school in the league. Now, at a press conference held in Ikeja, Lagos, founder of the Games, Dr. Seun Akibon, elaborated more on the project.
And at some point, I realized that there wasn't enough athletics competitions in Nigeria. every other weekend or every other 2 weeks, my children are going for swimming competition. It's always swimming. And I thought, okay, rather than do the thing that we all do, which is complain about why are there no competitions for athletics, I thought, okay, let's just start it. And so what started as a small, me just talking to my friends and saying, you know what, why don't we do this thing, has become this. So I'm very, very thankful that the dream and the vision is coming to light. But beyond that, I'm hoping that this would have impact and a lasting legacy.
Away from that one now, in the world of tennis, Naomi Osaka says she is embracing the clay a lot more now as she captured her first victory on the surface since 2022 in the Madrid Open first round on Wednesday. The Japanese former world number one grew up playing on hard courts in the United States and has mostly struggled on clay over the years. Osaka looked comfortable during her 6-4, 6-1 win over Belgian lucky loser Drit Minen to book a second round meeting with 15th seed Ludmila Samsonova. It was just the fourth victory on clay for Osaka since the start of 2021, and the four-time Grand Slam champion is hopeful it won't be her last in Madrid this fortnight. And in football, Manchester City's Premier League title bid has suffered a blow after Norwegian striker Erling Haaland was ruled out of Thursday's crucial clash at Brighton. Haaland missed City's 1-0 win over Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final at Wembley on Saturday due to a muscle injury sustained in the Champions League quarter-final exit against Real Madrid last week. Now, City's leading scorer, who has 20 Premier League goals this season, is yet to recover and will not make the trip to the Amex Stadium as the champions look to close the gap on leaders Arsenal. City boss Pep Guardiola insisted Haaland's injury was not serious and he could come back into contention in time for Sunday's game against Nottingham Forest. While Haaland is sidelined, Guardiola was boosted by England internationals Phil Foden and John Stones getting the green light to face Brighton after their own fitness concerns. Still talking football now, former Manchester United midfielder Tom Cleverley has been hired as Watford manager on a permanent deal after his spell as interim boss of the Championship club. Cleverley was placed in charge at Vicarage Road on a temporary basis when Valerian Ismail was sacked in March. The 34-year-old has managed 1 win, 1 loss and 5 draws during his 7 matches with the Hornets. Watford are currently 15th in the second-tier table with 2 games left against Sunderland and Middlesbrough. Now, they had lost 6 of their last 8 league games before Ismail was axed in the midst of a disappointing season for a team expected to push for a playoff place. And the French President Emmanuel Macron showed off his sporting prowess on Wednesday as a midfielder, playing alongside 1998 World Cup champions and football icons such as Didier Drogba and Eden Hazard. The match also saw participation from other notable personalities like MMA fighter Cyril Gane and former German goalkeeper Jens Lehmann. Now, the Charity Cup underlines Macron's ongoing engagement with sports as a means of promoting both charitable causes and national spirit ahead of the significant international spectacle of the Olympics set to take place in Paris, July 26th to the 11th of August. And that's a wrap on Sport Updates. I am Udoka Njoko. Thank you for watching.
Jadel Simon has the latest entertainment stories tonight.
In entertainment, Nigerian Afrobeat superstar D'banj celebrated his 20th anniversary in the music industry with a nostalgic reflection on his career. Marking the occasion with a Trace Live event that happened today, D'banj announced his upcoming single, Since 04, set to release on May 3rd, 2024, as a special tribute to his debut year. In his reflective post, D'banj honored his Mo Hits crew, including Don Jazzy, Wande Cole, The Prince, Dr. Seed, and K-Switch, whom he referred to as his brothers, crediting them for forming a formidable team. He expressed gratitude to everyone who has been part of his journey. He also extended apologies to those he may have wronged. The award-winning artist, who has earned numerous awards, including MTV, EMAs, MAMAs, and the BET for Best African Act in the 2011, is set to treat his fans again to an unforgettable experience with this new single. And now, away from the continent, Hailey Bailey has opened up about her battle with severe postpartum depression in a heartfelt Snapchat video last week. The singer and actress, known for her role in The Little Mermaid, shared her struggle, admitting it is hard for her to be separated from her son, Harlow, for more than 30 minutes. Bailey emphasized the importance of discussing postpartum depression openly, aiming to break the stigma surrounding it. In an emotional Instagram post, she received overwhelming support from other moms. She also highlighted that her depression had nothing to do with her son and was prompted by hurtful comments she read online. Bailey, who hid her pregnancy as a place of protection, stressed the need for empathy, reminding everyone that public figures have feelings too. And that's all we'll take on entertainment tonight. We'll take a short break, and when we are back, we'll bring you the updates on what's trending tonight. And now, moving away from entertainment stories, the hashtag President Bola Tinubu is the highlight of our trending stories today. President Bola Tinubu has approved the first phase of the consumer credit scheme. However, many Nigerians argue that this movement might not be well received due to underlying issues such as unemployment that has remained unaddressed. Despite the approval of the scheme, concerns linger about its effectiveness in the absence of measures to tackle broader economic challenges. Nigerians suggest that addressing these underlying issues should take precedence to ensure the long-term success and relevance of such initiatives. Let us see how Nigerians had to react to this story on X today. Nzai is saying, which Nigerians are you giving credit? The employed or unemployed Nigerians? 50% of Nigerians have no regular jobs. So who are you giving credit? This is another failed policy. Time will tell. Eric is saying Nigerians are gradually going to enslave themselves to the federal government with this credit scheme. Another tweet is saying, excellent decision, Mr. President. This scheme will help reduce financial burdens and create new opportunities for Nigerians. God bless Nigeria. And another tweet from Ohis as well is saying, a great leadership decision. The scheme will surely have a positive impact on the lives of many Nigerians. And that's all for tonight on What's Trending, but you can join the conversation and share your thoughts across our social media platforms at News Central TV. I am Jadel Simon.
And that's all tonight. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Nigeria's aviation minister has ordered the immediate suspension of Dana Air. 2 Wike loyalists rejected redeployment, quit Governor Fubara's cabinet in Rivers State. 627 delegates to elect PDP party's flag bearer on Thursday. We also brought you news that 4 people have died, while over 60,000 displaced as flood wreaks havoc in Kenya. Would like to hear from you? Please send your eyewitness report to the number showing now on your screen. Do follow us on social media as well. That's at News Central TV. You can watch live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and on YouTube. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Have a good night rest.